Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Deals podcast. I'm your host, Gabrielle Simmons. Today I am here with Topaz. What is your last name? I don't think I've ever asked.
Dori.
Dori. Oh, okay, yeah. Topaz Dori. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me today.
Yes. Topaz is with Capital Fund One. They are one of our verified affiliates and the verified affiliate for our Denver market. So all of you members and the real estate deal makers, you guys have seen them multiple times at our events. Excuse me, my phone is going off. Let me turn that off.
Maybe she got the deal.
Hopefully. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Builders Outlet. Builders Outlet is your go-to for windows, doors, trim, and cabinets. You can check them out by going online to buildersoutletco.com. Have you been to Builders Outlet?
I don't think I've ever been.
Okay. That's definitely a connection we need to make sure we make because a lot of your clients, are flipping houses, right?
Yeah.
And they could utilize Builders Outlet to get some materials.
Will they get it in bulk or will they get it in like payments, credit cards?
Both.
Okay.
We can do both. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Capital Fund One.
Awesome. So as I said, my name is Topaz Dori. I'm with Capital Fund One. I'm the VP of origination here in Colorado. And Capital Fund One started back in 2009 with about, I want to say $2 million in the court steps in Scottsdale, financing trustee sales.
Okay.
And found it very, I want to say, profitable business. Instead of only flipping, also financing the flippers. And since then, we grew it up to 5 markets. And I want to say managing somewhere, don't catch me on the numbers, but it's a little north than 900 million of asset under management.
900 million?
Correct, 900 million.
Wow. So far. Since
So far,
2009.
Correct.
Wow. That's amazing.
So obviously our headquarters sit in Scottsdale, Arizona. We have the office here since, I want to say 2020. Since then we opened Texas, Tennessee, Nashville, and Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are all over.
All over the place.
And really, I would say as a company, I feel like Capital Fund One does a great job of reaching out, staying connected, getting involved in groups, and just really being known and being seen, being consistent.
Yeah.
Way more than most of the other hard money lenders that I've encountered.
No, I can't agree more. I think generally speaking, we truly believe in having people, foot on the ground in the markets we are in. Sorry, that's why we only, at this point, in 5 markets, but trying or do our best to dominate those specific markets.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe we are so far, obviously, the biggest in Arizona. We dominate Colorado for the past year or so, dominating Texas, and then we're working on our last 2 markets as those are the newest ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have people in the markets, we have people going to events, we have people outreaching, cold calls,
Yeah.
Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is.
Yeah. You guys are well connected. I love it.
Yeah. We do our best to bother as many people as we can.
Others
Get them the right financing they need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. People will reach out to lenders or they will show up with lenders out of state that the terms are horrible, but they market it as higher leverage or whatever it is. But then once that been, came up and 2 days before closing, the term sheet changed.
Uh-huh.
Then they call back to Capital Fund One. Hey, I know you're the lender that can close tomorrow. I need you, so can you close my deal?
Yeah.
So I think it's a hit or miss with those trying to shop around with lenders from different states or just staying local, staying with people people you can meet for lunch,
Yeah.
people you can drop by their office and see they're real and not a scam.
Right. Yeah. That's what I like is that you guys are here locally.
Yeah.
If you weren't, I wouldn't have invited you here today.
I agree with that. And I think you as a lender, you need to know your market. You need to know the neighborhood. You need to know the people. You need to know the trends. I mean, there's an unlimited amount of times where I help my borrowers get the leverage they need with underwriting. Although underwriters were conservative, I just know the neighborhood. I knew what houses sell for what prices.
Yeah.
So I can just say, I'm here. And obviously my underwriter is local, but just it's helped to have another foot on the ground, people that can drive the property. We had just an example, a deal that we were short maybe $200,000. It was a $4 million property. And they said that it's adjusted to a school, which is true. If you look on Google Maps, you'll cross the street from a school.
Uh-huh.
But if you drive the street, it's sit on a hill. So you actually get a mountain view.
Oh.
But I mean, the borrower was very mad when we didn't give him the leverage he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So once we drove the property and we said, dude, you sit on a hill. I mean, he has a mountain view. He's not bothered by any way from the school.
Nice.
And
Yeah, that
he got
makes a
one in it.
difference.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us what is hard money? For those who don't know, tell us like the basics. Why would somebody utilize your company?
So hard money stands for the hard asset that we're lending against. So we don't do appraisal, we don't do credit, we don't look on your personal financials, I don't care for your pay stubs. I all tell my borrowers and you guys there, listen, if you have a very impressive bank account, I'm happy to chat and learn how you made it to a very impressive bank account, but I don't necessarily care for the loan purposes.
Okay.
We can have lunch and talk about it off record. But no, so it's really because most of those fix and flip loans are distressed properties. A lot of them wouldn't even pass inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did, most of the sellers on those cases are wholesalers that hold the contracts that typically put a 10 to 14 days close.
Right.
That wouldn't allow a mortgage to get into the place. Like there's not enough
finance.
Exactly. There's no time for conventional. There's no time for DSCR. You have to go on technically a cash offer.
Right.
Which is a hard money to get into the deal. So that's where they reach out to us. We are the cash they use.
Mm-hmm.
We're placing a loan, we're placing a lien, the first lien against the property, and we allow them to close basically as soon as title is ready. Quick story, I got a call from one of my borrowers December 30th at 10 at night. They landed back from California saying, I'm not naming anyone, IRS, but I had to write a loss for the year of 2024. I'm going to buy a house tomorrow. I'm like, awesome, send me the stuff.
The last day of December.
Yep, 7:30 in the morning, December 31st, I get a deal, and title was scheduled for 11:30. So 4 hours later, the deal got funded.
Wow.
And it's something that cannot happen with any other lender, hard money or soft money. So that's why people use us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I have been told that I personally haven't utilized any hard money for any projects. I primarily use private funds or creative financing for buy and holds. But the people that I know and work with and that are part of this community, like they speak very highly about your company and how you guys fund super quick.
And we really do our best in terms of understanding what they need, I believe. Because like if I would have cold called you and you would tell me, hey, Topaz, I appreciate your reach out, but I do have access to private capital at 8% interest with no points, I will tell you up front. 5. Nah, we'll talk afterwards. But I would say I can't compete with that. Like there's no reason for you to even talk to me unless they're out of money. So I wouldn't even bother you. I would stay in touch every second month or so, see if that access is still there.
Right.
But I wouldn't bother you because for me, it wouldn't make sense that you, as an investor myself, it wouldn't make sense for me to take 10% interest in one point if you have access to such a cheap resource of capital.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think another reason that people use us is just for the second pair of eye on the deal is because we on average, I want to say close around 25-ish to $30 million in loans in Colorado every month across, I mean, my last month was about 46, 47 loans. Wow. As a company, I want to say 65, 70 in Colorado. So we do have the knowledge, we do have the experience of looking on different properties, and we just underwrote hundreds of them. So like we have a fairly good understanding of the market, and it doesn't mean we're always right. I mean, we want to say so, but we're not always right. But it's always helped to have an extra pair of eyes looking on your deal, make sure that your numbers are right.
Right. So tell me, like, how does it work? So if let's say I'm a wholesaler and I want to keep this deal instead of wholesaling it off, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to email you or somebody on your team and say, hey, I want funding for this deal. Here's my purchase price. Here's what I think the rehab is going to be. What else do you guys need to get that process going?
So I want to say that we are one of the more strict when it comes to underwriting your deal, and I'll explain. It's not because we're bad people. We just have a very large volume of deals, and I can't underwrite deal for a wholesaler 10 times a week when he's just trying to basically match his pricing. And I'll explain.
Yeah.
Technically, we ask for the contract. Now, the contract doesn't have to be executed, but we at least want to see that you're serious, that you submitted an offer, that you all be under contract, just so that we know we're not wasting our time.
Right.
Because with our volume, we underwrite about 300 to 500 properties I want to say a month in the state of Colorado. So like, and that's people that are under contract or at least submitted offers.
Right.
So if I would just open it to, hey, I'm thinking about this address, that's a price, that's a re-up, what do you think? I'm like, my underwriters will work forever and I would get like my conversion ratio would be on the floor.
Right. Because then it's not even under contract. Like there's not even a guarantee that I can buy this house.
And at that price. I mean, people ask, hey, what do you think about this property? Is it a good deal? I'm like, I mean, it's a good deal at 300, it's a horrible deal at 450. So it really depends on what price you can get in there.
Right.
Because I don't believe this is a bad deal. It's a bad deal with a bad price, because like one property can be horrible deal for you, it can be an amazing deal for me if I got it 150 grand under. So it really depends on how deep we can get it.
Right.
So the 4 things we need from every borrower, and it's very simple. I get 1 email from good borrower and good brokers. I get 1 email. It has a purchase contract or a assignment, photos of the properties. Obviously, if it's an MLS property, I take it myself. If it's wholesale, typically it's off market. So then they just send me a link with all the pictures. A quick budget. It doesn't have to be beat from any GC. It can be, hey, Topaz, I'm going to spend 60, 10 on flooring, 15 on landscape, 7 on paint, 10 on kitchen. Just a quick breakdown. Because for me to underwrite, I need to be able to match it to a different property. So I need to know what you're doing. So, because if your kitchen is dated and you're not touching it, I can't give you the same ARV of a property that the kitchen is updated.
Right. So you guys, okay, that makes sense. You're actually going through and checking to see, like, if I say I'm going to leave the kitchen as is, you're going to adjust that ARV value to be like, okay, well, then you're not going to get top market for it when you resell it.
Exactly.
So that allows you to adjust your numbers a little bit too, to be conservative.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And then the last thing I need is just your track record, addresses of past projects. And I really don't need people get nervous from it to like, well, I didn't save docs. I'm like, I really don't need the docs. I just need the addresses. So I go on tax records. I verify that Gabrielle bought 123X property, whatever, at 400 and she sold it at 600. And I can see typically the before and after photos online.
Right.
And I can tell, okay, she clearly knows what she's doing. With that being said, we obviously work with first-time flippers.
Okay.
We just want to match your deal to your experience. If you're a first-time flipper, and I have one on my table right now, first-time flipper, no experience, 110K rehab.
Oh, wow.
You can do it. Me on my end as a lender, I'll deploy less money into your deal because there's no guarantee you even can execute.
Right.
And or there's at least not a track record that can show that you can execute.
Right.
So it really depends on the level of the deal you're picking up. If you're a first-time flipper, start with a condo, start with a townhome. I know it's not, sexy, but it's just that's what you need to start on. And like people expecting to make 30, 40 grand on the first flip on a condo, and like it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
You should be blessed and thankful to make 15K, and it's okay. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, if it's a light rehab, you're not putting in a crazy amount of money.
Exactly.
Fix it up.
Yeah. But at least you get experience, you dip your toe in the water, and it's helped you to build that track record that you can show lenders and say, hey, I did condo, I'm ready for the townhome. Hey, I did a townhome, I'm ready for a cosmetic single family. Hey, I did a cosmetic single family, I'm ready to finish a basement. Finish a basement, I'm ready for addition. So like you need to build your trust, because the lenders, because we don't check your credit, we don't look in your background. Like I need somehow to trust that they give you the money. Our money is private investors. It's you, me, my family, your family. It's private investors.
Right.
I deploy their money
to the fund.
Okay. So I want those people's money to be safe in the right deal. And every deal is, I believe, is safe to the certain level of leverage. So I don't change my pricing if it's Gabrielle borrowing or if it's John borrowing. I change my leverage. How comfortable am I with your deal?
And when you say that, what do you mean? Just simplify. You change your leverage.
If that's a killer deal and you experience, I can give you 90%. If you are the first time flipper and there is not a killer, I may be at 80%. So that will require a bigger down payment.
Right.
That would basically put me in a better basis if I had to take the property back. Because every lender in the world, if you tell you no, he's a liar. We think of it of basically in the terms of, if I take it back,
right, how
can I get out?
Yeah.
And I better get out at least break even, because that's my track record.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make money of it. I just try to get out break even. So I get my money back and I can deploy it again.
So you're like quantifying the risk level.
Correct.
Like if I'm super new, never done this before, don't have a track record, the risk level's higher, therefore you're going to give me less money out of the total funds that I need to purchase and renovate the property.
Correct. And I wouldn't change my pricing. A lot of people are concerned about me. New, I would get 12% instead of 10.5. I don't care for that. That's just my cost of capital.
Mm-hmm.
I care about keep the dollars I have safe. So I'll give you less. So if I took it back and I sold it, at least recoup my money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you get into this business and this type of position? Do you just love numbers?
I do love numbers, but I'll give a little background story about myself. I'm originally from Israel. Whoever couldn't understand my accent so far is because I'm from Israel. My first language is Hebrew.
Okay.
And I made it here after I met my wife in California, maybe 4 years ago. No college degree, high school education, if you can call it. And I knew I would make my way into real estate and finance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know in what way. I thought about being an agent. I met with a few Israeli agents just to kind of pick their brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, no, I don't want to work weekends. Like I'm not going to be there at an open house on Saturday. Like, nah. So I can't be an agent. I was like, well, maybe I'll be a wholesaler. But I was like, wholesaling is a hard job. It's a hard start. Like it's very easy once you have the clientele, that's someone that totally trusts you. But to build that trust without even access to the MLS, it's not easy.
It's not.
And I had no paperwork at the time because our great politics system, it's like a lot longer to get your paperwork if you do it right and legally. I should have probably run the border, but I didn't. I did it right and legal. So it took me very long to get my paperwork.
Yeah.
About a year and a half. So in the meantime, I have a very good friend who is in Arizona, and he owned a brokerage that finance hotels. So they do hotels all over the States.
Okay.
So he kind of taught me how to underwrite, how to look at deals, build needs lists, like shop different banks. So kind of that's what kind of was my first step. I worked for free. Obviously, I had no paperwork, but I worked to learn. And then once I got my paperwork, he knew Noah, who is the president of Capital Fund One, and they had an office in Denver. So he recommended me as potential employee. I talked to them and I got in right away. But nice. I got in, a couple of years ago, 2 months after I got in. We kind of cleaned the office from people that were not the right fit, or just we had to restart the office. I want to say when I got in, we were number 4 in Colorado. And today we're maintaining, for about a year, we're maintaining number 1 in terms of volume.
Wow.
So we're doing well. We're doing well.
We're taking names.
We're grinding.
I love it.
We worked our ass off. Sorry for language.
So you went from California to Arizona.
I never made it to Arizona. I actually came right here as a homeless a little bit. I was in the park in Littleton for a couple of weeks in my car.
Wow.
My wife was a nanny. I started on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I had a good story. Maybe I'll write a book one day.
Yes, you should.
Yeah. Should learn writing first, but
that's a great story.
Yeah.
And you're very committed to what you do.
I love what I do. I love talking to investors. I always try to make the best deal for them, and I'll be the first one to tell them, if I'm not your best choice, it's okay. Just call me on the next deal. I mean, I'm not here to make a quick few $100 off you and then you hate me because I sold you a bad deal. You will never come back. The fix and flip game is a long-term game. Is building a system to allow you to flip 6, 10, 20 properties a year and basically quit your 9 to 5, right?
Right.
So for me, as long as I can help you make money, that's potentially will help me make money because you will come back again for more deals.
Yeah, and send more people your way.
More people.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I tell people that they have a bad deal and recommend they're not getting in there, it's not because I know better than them, it's just our opinion. Some of them are not mature enough to appreciate the opinion. And they're just like, well, Capital Fund have no idea what they do. I'll never talk to them again. Unfortunate. But most people are very appreciative and they say, well, thank you for basically watching my back and don't let me get into a bad deal.
Yeah, no doubt. I actually inquired with Capital Fund One maybe 3 years ago on one property. It was on Kensington Drive.
Okay.
And I had submitted like the information and stuff, and I wanted to purchase it. I had it under contract as a wholesale. And when I sent the numbers over, I don't remember the name of the person I was working with, but when I sent it over, he was like analyzing everything, and he's like, yeah, like this, I would only give you, I think he said 80%.
Yeah.
or maybe even less because it was my first flip. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can show you I've been doing real estate. I've been wholesaling. I've done dozens and dozens of deals, but I haven't flipped anything exactly.
And we really run into it in a lot of cases with the Hispanic community and with real estate agents. Because real estate agents, they have been in the business of real estate for quite some time.
Yeah.
So they would say, well, I've been an agent for 25 years. I sold a lot of properties. And I always ask, and did you ever flip a property? Like, do you ever manage a rehab?
And looking at those numbers.
And look at the number, and the answer is no. And I'm like, well, then your track record, it's beautiful. Like if I was owning a brokerage and I need an agent, I'll hire you. But for me to deploy the money in there, I need to know you can handle the rehab. And I'm not saying hold the hammer. I'm saying supervising it or get a GC. And then people say, well, but GC costs money. I'm like, I know, but someone need to know what they're doing.
Yeah. And factor that into the cost.
Exactly. So it's really, and with the Hispanic community, same thing. A lot of them know A to Z on the construction side. Yeah. But they're not GC, so they never pull permits. So there's no track record. So they will send me a list of properties that they did the rehab on. But it's not that I'm a bad person. I can't, there's no way to verify.
Right.
There's really no way to verify because it's not on tax records because they didn't own it. They never pulled a permit, so it's never been in their name.
And that can be problematic then if they're flipping a house and they don't pull permits.
And I would say it's kind of, it's interesting. A lot of flippers don't want to pull permits. And I get it. It takes time. Time is money. You pay interest on that money you borrowed. And you need to wait. I get it. I personally don't think it's worth the risk of getting red tagged because once you get red tagged first, the city remember the names. They have a list of and records for all those things. They will see another purchase. They're quickly going to be there, not red tagging you, but at least checking that everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really, I think it doesn't worth it. Now, I'm not saying on every little things. The cities can be difficult sometimes. You change your water heater, dude, come on, it's $2,000. Like you don't need a permit. Right. You're doing the roof, you better get permit. You finish the basement, you better get permit, the BFIN. You put an egress window, because the issue, and I'm not a lawyer or tax advisor in any way, but I've been told that you can sue someone that you bought the house if you didn't disclose it, right? Up to 7 years later after the purchase, if something is done there that is not correct and has never been disclosed. Now, if there's no permit that been pulled, how would you know that it's even right?
That it was done properly. Yeah.
Properly, yeah.
And even with things like water heaters, like that actually is a safety hazard. Yeah. That could be a concern with the CO2 or whatever that can get released.
No, I agree. I think it's just sometimes my biggest flippers that work on bigger properties, they typically buying Cherry Creek, Cherry Hills, they typically purchase somewhere around the 1.5 to 1.7. They typically put rehab somewhere between $300,000 to $500,000.
Those are the deals we want.
That we all want, right? Those are the friends we want, right? But those are the guys that there's no question for them about architect, plans, permits. They know it doesn't worth it to get red tagged. It doesn't worth it to get the stop work order. Yeah. For saving whatever, $5-10 grand. It doesn't worth it. Now, if you're doing a condo and you're changing a water heater and that's the only thing that's gonna hold you, I get it. I'm not encouraging people to do it in any way. Right. But I get where it's come from. The wish to avoid the permits.
Yeah. Because especially with hard money, right? Like time is money. Yeah. You're gonna pay monthly on the money that's being borrowed.
Interest only.
So you want to get the house done quickly.
Yeah. Because that's part of the issue. A lot of people, especially today you see it probably better than me, property sits on the market. Even if you're the best flipper, property sits on the market. Yeah. And then if you factored 3 months and you end up holding 7 and the payments are $5,000, then $20,000 are off your profit. There's no way around it. Right. There's just no way around it. And people will, instead of cutting their price $15,000 and get out, they will hold it for 3 more months.
Cost themselves more money.
The $15,000. Yeah. And just wasting their time. Yeah. And it's really interesting time in the market because some properties get like this. They gone. Some properties just see there and you're like, what's wrong in it? It's beautiful work, past inspection, it's priced right. Right. And everyone expecting the 2% interest that I'm not a profit, but I don't think it's ever coming back. I think it was a one-time mistake and whoever could take advantage of it, good thing it did, but I don't see it's coming back.
Yeah, so those people are just holding on when
they're just waiting.
Great rates.
They're just waiting. Yeah. Today we're just in historically average. Historically average we're always 6-7%.
Right.
So we're just all jealous of the guys, I shouldn't use language, but guys that bought in 2% interest. But
Yeah.
it's just not coming back. I don't think it's coming back.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Other than hard money, what do you guys fund?
So
or I should say, other than fix and flips,
Yeah.
what other types of projects?
So a lot of people use us for refinances. We are one of the only hard money that do refi. So if you did a fix and flip, you're probably stuck on the market. There's another beautiful property you want to buy, but your money is tied into that property. I'll do a refi up to 75% LTV.
Oh.
And I want to say that we are one of the only ones that do it, like hard money refi. So I'll take hard money, like I will refinance another hard money into my hard money.
Yeah.
So I will pay them off. I'll give them the cash out to purchase the other property. Now, because there's no prepayment penalty, I mean, if the property is sold 3 weeks later, okay,
Cool.
just pay me off.
Yeah.
So that's one of our products. We do offer soft money, is one of our newest programs. So we fund most of the US. Currently, we still pending on Nevada, the Dakotas, and I want to say Utah.
Okay.
But the soft money program is very similar to other lenders in the market, and I'm not going to use names, that call themselves hard money, but they're more soft money, which basically mean they have the ability to close faster than a mortgage, but it's still based on credit and appraisal.
Okay.
So it's typically 7 to 10 day close, at least, and they do a little deeper underwriting on you, on the project. Sorry, not on the project. We do the same on the project, but a little deeper underwriting on you as a borrower.
Okay.
And we started to fund those. I personally have a deal going on right now in Florida it's a refi actually, 2.3 million or so, like pay off. And then they want 2.8 million to
Purchase the next one.
no, for construction.
Oh.
They're gonna get a second, I want to say it's a second floor or addition.
Wow.
They make it a beautiful mansion and have one in California. So we use that to fund states where we don't have our direct hard money. So I'll do it in Colorado only if someone asks. I just personally don't like to be in deal and hope that appraisal will come right. I prefer knowing facts. I prefer work directly with someone, with a lender that I can talk to him, we come to an agreement and we close on it. I don't want to wait and hope that the credit is okay and the appraisal is okay.
Right. There's a lot more factors to get the underwriting approved for.
Yeah.
Now, is soft money cheaper money to borrow or more expensive?
It's more or less the same pricing, I'll be honest. It's the same pricing, it's just a different process. It typically can get a higher leverage on the construction side. So if you do ground up construction, you can typically get better leverage with it because obviously we do a deeper underwriting on you and understanding. It's required more experience. For example, on my hard money side, I can do ground up for you if you did one house. But if on the soft money side, I need 3 houses at least.
Oh, okay.
So it's a different animal, but a lot of guys like it on the ground up specifically just because ground up regardless take longer to close.
Right.
Because you need to finalize plan from the city, you need the permits, you need the GC and have leads in place. So it's take longer to close regardless. At that point, they don't mind paying the same or even a little higher just to get the extra, whatever, 5-10% of the cost.
Okay.
And
for the refinance ones that you guys do, what's the term? Is that you're refinancing to a 30-year?
So we have 2 options. So we can do a 12-month. That's our basic hard money term, 12-month.
Okay.
So 12-month, we do it in Colorado at least at 10.5% interest in 1 point origination.
Okay.
And there's no prepayment penalty. Then we do offer a DSCR product that's stands for debt service coverage ratio. I'm sure you're familiar. A lot of people use it for rentals. I personally purchased a couple of rentals last year with the product just because it's same pricing as mortgages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe a quarter point higher.
More, yeah.
But it's easier to get approved and it's all based on the property's cash flow. So obviously you need a minimum credit score, but as long as the property cash flow and the property basically paying itself off,
right?
As a lender, I feel comfortable deploying money in it, knowing that the deal is strong. Not necessarily the borrower. I don't care for your income as a borrower, but at least I know the deal is strong.
Right.
We do that all over the states. Again, beside those 4 states I mentioned.
Do you know what your rate is right now for DSCR?
So I mean, it's probably the hardest question to ask because I will compare it to Gabrielle going into the bank. What is the bank mortgage rates?
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, I'm an amazing borrower. I'm an 800 plus. I'm not, but I'm an 800 plus. I'll get a 6.5 interest rate on my mortgage of 6.2. But you are not that good of a borrower and you will get 7.4.
Right.
Right. So to go to the bank and ask, hey, what's the interest rate? It's subjective to who is the borrower. So in the DSCR, it's subject to what the deal is. So I'm saying I'm probably the best I saw recently is about 6.5.
Okay. That's much better than I thought.
Yeah, so about 6.5. But again, that was lower leverage. So it was a refi cash out. I want to say 50% leverage.
Oh, okay.
So the cash flow was very, very strong,
Right.
which allow us to be very safe. So we were very aggressive on it. But I saw quotes going out all the way up to 8.5
Yeah.
or minimum credit score. I want to say it's like 620 or 630.
Yeah.
And the property is a ratio of 1. So the note, the mortgage payment is exactly the rent. So they don't cash flow.
Right.
It's
Just paying itself off.
just paying itself off.
Basically.
And the reason they did it, they just tried to get out of the hard money. So they figure I'll do it right now, and if rates go down at some point, I'll refinance again.
Mm-hmm.
So those are our main, I want to say, 3-4 products: DSCR, soft money, hard money for the purchase, and then the refi and hard money.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot more options than I realized.
Yeah, I mean, we do our best to really find. Like, I have people that was in the middle of a DSCR, and we realized that, no, dude, I really want to get out of this property. Like, let's stop the DSCR. Let's do it in the hard money. We'll get you the time and the money right now, and then pay us off when you sell. So it's really try to build or to create the best suit for your client for what their needs are.
I love that. And you mentioned you yourself, you have rental property?
I have rentals property.
That's
properties out of state though. I'm again, no politics, but I wouldn't hold properties in Colorado myself, Topaz.
because of the tenant landlord laws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had an eviction last month.
Here?
Nope.
Oh,
I own properties in Indiana.
okay.
I in Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
It was a 30 days notice, cost me $500, and the tenant was out.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I mean, good thing I experienced it now, but I prefer that than waiting on 6-month payments in Colorado can be what?
Yeah.
Average payments are like $2,500 to $3,500.
Yeah.
And like, it's gonna take 6 months to get someone out.
Unless you're doing it yourself, but that's a whole headache.
Yeah. And we come probably to legal issues and stuff. I don't know. I don't hold anything beside my own house here. But I mean, Colorado is a great market for appreciation. I think it will never stop appreciating. I think it's a very unique bubble for appreciation. It's not the place for cash flow. And then it's just about the decision, in what spot are you in life? Like, do you look for the appreciation? Do you look for the cash flow? Obviously, probably the best is both.
Yeah.
Which
In some markets, I think Pueblo is still a decent cash flow market. You know, you can still buy deep enough
yeah.
and rent decently.
I think, I mean, we land in Pueblo on the hard money side, on the flips, and also on the DSCR as well. And it's just because it's a smaller market, I think it's really a bubble, Pueblo. It's not like Boulder or Fort Collins that is big enough. So it's really a bubble of like cheaper prices. So a lot of guys from here try to flip there just because it's an easiest entry point.
Right.
But what they don't get is like most lenders are more conservative, because if I'm here and I need to market the house that I took back in Pueblo, I'm going to cut off whatever 20-30% just to get out.
Right. And those houses typically take a lot more renovation.
Exactly. They're very old. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole different animal. But that's why I really don't necessarily understand that, because if I'm buying a 100K property or 150K property, leverage, if it's 80 or 85, we're talking about 6-7 grand. Like it's not like here you buy a 500K property, 5% leverage can be 25-30 grand.
Yeah.
So it's okay, that's a big chunk. But 6-7 grand, if you believe in the deal, if you believe in the product, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If you believe in it. If you don't, I mean, if you don't believe in your deal, don't expect me to believe in your deal either.
Bring it to you so you can try to believe in it. No, I don't.
Yeah, just hope for it.
Yeah.
I would love to share one like kind of tip for investors.
Yes,
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the first one to encourage investors to go shop their deals with different lenders, because if lender telling you he's the best for all deals, he's the biggest liar. I would never say that. We are the best, but I would never say that. Because it's really like, it's human being in the end. Different underwriters look at deals differently and they value it differently. And it's really about knowing what property, what deal is the best for that lender. And just knowing your prices, the lender prices of what you're expecting to get.
Right.
I had a deal the other day that I lost to a Minnesota lender that I don't even know who it is. It was a deal in Colorado, and they got from them it was a small deal, like 250K purchase and like 30K re-up.
Wow.
They got 13K more in leverage. So they got a loan amount from the Minnesota lender, 13K higher.
Right.
But their pricing was 13% interest and 3.5 points.
Wow. And yours is 10.
10.5 and 1. So I was like, you gaining 13K in interest in leverage, but you're losing upfront 2.5 points. So that's like 6.5, 7 grand. And your payments are higher in like $400 a month because it's at least 2.5 points higher.
Right.
So I'm like, you're losing on that deal about 9K in fees to gain 13K in leverage. It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to the borrower, and all they've been told is like, you should look for the higher leverage. So I think it's really a combination. Equity that you bring in, it's equity. You will get it when you sell.
Right.
Fees, with all respect, you make the lender rich. That's all it is. That's all it is. And a lot of lenders will advertise 100% financing, but you need to pay for that. No one is that naive to just upfront your whole deal
Right.
without charging for it.
Right.
They
Paying
don't-
attention to that interest rate.
interest rate and the points.
Super important.
Because that's where a lot of, I think, borrowers fail to understand what they're doing. And then if you break it down into like an actual financial model, it just doesn't add up. Like there's no way any experienced investor will take it. But new investors, that's what I've been told. Like all that matters is leverage.
Look for leverage. Yeah. Look for any deal that you can get as close to 100%
And I'm like,
funding on.
And we encourage people. I mean, if you can negotiate seller carry on your deals, we allow that. I mean, we'll let you go up to 95% loan to cost between me and the second. So I'll require only 5%. So if you're buying a property,
In that case, you still require to be first
I will be first.
lien position.
Yeah, because I also will be the majority of the lien.
Okay.
So if someone buy a 400 grand property and I give him 350 and they're doing 50K,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to ask the seller, hey, carry for me for the next 6 months, whatever, 30K of it, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you bring his 20, I'm
Can you
good.
do it the other way? Like if seller carries 300,000 and I go to you for 100 and you go
but
at second.
I would never be a second.
Okay.
I'll never be a second. So I have to be the first. But I had people that just sit on cash and they're like, oh, 1031 exchange, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The people that, buying the property at 800 grand, but they just got from the exchange like 400 or 500 grand. They just call me for 200 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I give it to them. Obviously we are very, very safe at like 20% leverage.
Oh,
And they don't need to pay tax on their sale.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so you encourage investors to shop to
I encourage investors to shop just for the reason of, first of all, then you know who is a real lender, who is not. Second, again, no names, but there are lenders that are smaller that try to compete in the market, which is beautiful. I think it's great competition. It's pushed us to be better. It's pushed other lenders to be better. It's great. But I think the issue with it is if they're out of money 2 days before your closing, you're in troubles.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, you're a wholesaler. You will keep his earnest very, very, very hard all the way.
Yeah.
And or you're calling me last minute and I can be very nice and tell you, I'll fund it. I can be very not nice and say, why didn't you call me first? I'll still fund it. That's like I put food on the table. Yeah. But that's my attitude is like people will try to shop to the last second to save on like a quarter point on interest on a 300K loan
Right.
over the course of 4 months. We're talking about like $400 maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah. Not a huge.
Don't catch me. I don't have the calculation, but maybe $400 or $500. I'm like, would you risk your 10K hard earnest money over a potential $500 on interest payment? I would never.
Right.
So
You guys have the reputation.
your reputation, the track record.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you up front, we really don't waste anyone's time. Like I never change my terms. It's not like you send me a deal, I send you a term sheet, and 2 days before closing, I'm actually, you know what? I want more. The only time I'll do it is if you hide something. So if I, for whatever reason, send you in my contingency, I want to do an inspection, and I come to the house and I see fire damage, I'll be like, you never disclosed there's a fire damage here. Because I ask for photos up front, and if you hide a specific room and now I see it, clearly I'm going to change my leverage.
Right. Because now that's a little bit high risk.
Exactly. But then also a lot of times people will hide the seller credit or they will negotiate the seller credit all the way to the end. But if I already gave you my max leverage 90%, and now you came back the day of closing and you succeed to negotiate another 15K in price drop, that's put me above my max leverage because now the price is not 400, it's actually 385 because you negotiated a credit. So I have to adjust my numbers down because I can't be above 90%.
Oh.
So we see that a lot of time. I had one yesterday, condo that came last second with an $8,000 credit. And all we did is just we had to drop our loan amount like couple grand just to make sure that we stay in the 90, like we gave him the same leverage, but from the new price. It's not a carry, it's seller credit. It is in the way, it's just a reduction in price.
Right.
Seller carry, like you have to pay that owner off at some point. Carry, just it's a gift.
Yeah. What happens, I just had this thought. What happens if somebody wants to borrow from you guys for the purchase of the property? I guess the more direct question is, do you confirm that they have funds for renovation? Like,
no, we don't. So I really don't.
So someone can come to you and say, hey, I want to borrow this for the purchase. And then my cousin said next week he's going to give me $100,000 for me to rehab it. And
so we really don't verify like the source of the funds, where they come from. We really truly believe in the asset base. If the deal is good, that's up to you. If you are that, I don't want to say stupid, naive to buy a property to get into a 10.5% interest without actually verify you have the funds
to actually flip it.
Something's wrong in you, not in me. I put their leverage and I feel comfortable in the deal. So for me, I don't verify that. And we see it a lot where people like under contract, they know let's say they need total of $70,000, 30 for the down payment and then 40 for the re-up, and they are short. But they tell me, yeah, dude, I'm gonna come with the extra 20. And we do our best on every deal to provide both options. One of them that we finance the re-up for them, and one of them that we don't. And then obviously they get higher leverage at closing, but they need to fund the re-up. And then they can choose based on the specific deal. Now, obviously, if you are a new investor and you're buying a property that is gutted down to the studs, I'm not going to be exposed up front. I'm going to be exposed to a certain extent up front. I will give you something at closing, but I want to be involved in the re-up too. Because I want to make sure that it's getting done and I want you to bring more money to the closing.
Right.
But if that's just a cosmetic flip, I feel comfortable to give you more money at closing, knowing that Gabrielle can execute the rehab. But I will still offer both options because some people have borrowers that like to borrow even $15,000 in rehab. And I have borrowers that even $100,000 in rehab, they're like, out of pocket, I don't want to touch your rehab funds. But it's obviously, it's more work, it's paperwork, it's inspection, it's make it draws.
Yeah.
And I know there are lenders that do it pictures. I personally would love to learn how they do it because it's crazy to me that someone can send a picture and get money. Like, I mean, if it's from another property, then what?
Right.
Like you upfront the fund. We saw it happen.
Oh man.
We were not always that like strict on the draws. We're just, as the market get tighter, deals get tighter, borrowers get tighter.
Yeah.
People try to be creative how to gain money for a few projects. And I mean,
so you guys have to be more thorough in your checks and balances.
And we just want to make sure that you actually use it for this specific property on the budget we agreed on that was in your loan docs.
Yeah.
And that is being done correctly. We had a property I tried to refi. He did $120,000 rehab. We sent an inspection just to make sure it's on the market. He tried to sell, but he couldn't. So he asked me for a refi cash out and he didn't pass inspection. And I was like, I mean, you did $100,000 rehab. You better pass inspection. He didn't.
He didn't do $100,000 in rehab?
He did. It's just the inspection failed. I mean, electrical was wrong. Like plumbing was wrong.
Yeah.
Like some floors, like planks were not like
even
high. Yeah, he just was not right.
Wow.
Like it was a cheap work. And he's a good investor. I don't know what's happened on that one because I did a few other deals for him that had no issue. I don't know if his contractor just had a bad month or whatever, but he got stuck with it because if we didn't pass the inspection with him, if he tried to sell, I assume someone else wouldn't pass the inspection.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And you guys will fund 100%, right, of the purchase and renovation?
No. So we'll fund 100% of your renovation, but our metrics are 4 different metrics and it's a little confusing. So we'll not exceed 75% of ARV.
Okay.
We'll not exceed 90 of the purchase.
Okay.
Means you need 10% down and fund the rehab. Will not exceed 85 loan to cost. So if between the purchase and the rehab, I'll be at 85%.
Okay.
And you will need 15% of the total cost down payment.
Right.
And I will never exceed 85% of current value. So when I underwrite the deal, we always underwrite for what the current value is, what the future value is. Obviously, we always want to see a discount. So if the current value is 400K and you buy a 360, beautiful. But if your current value is 400 and you buy a 400, it's not necessarily bad.
Right.
It just means it's no discount. And so I cannot be exposed 90% upfront. I'll have to be exposed only 85%.
Okay.
To give myself safe. Because we all know there's cost for selling a house.
Yeah.
Right? So if I took it back, that 15% is what keep me safe in terms of cost to get rid of it.
To resell. Yep.
To resell, to hold it on my books.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for breaking that down. I might actually use hard money sometime.
You should. I'll give you my card. I don't have one. I'll do that.
I have your number.
Well, no, but it's really interesting. Like people avoid hard money. It has such a bad name for whatever reason. It sounds like the mafia.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hard money.
Loan sharks.
Yeah. People call me like, or when I call people like, hard money. No, dude, you're at like 4.17%. I'm like, I know that's how it used to be. It's a lot more regulated today. There's a lot more competition. Like people, in the end, if you're a private person that sit on very deep pockets and you can fund these at 13 and 4 points, beautiful. I mean, good for you. It's probably an amazing source of income. But the bigger institutional hard money guys, it's not too far off. If a mortgage today you get at 7.5%, I mean, to get hard money without any red tape, any paperwork at 10.5 for a short bridge before you refi or sell,
Yeah.
we're not too far off. And it's interest-only payments, so the payments are very close to what you regard as paying between the interest and the principal, maybe a few $100 under.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a tough question for you.
Shoot it.
Kind of a trick question.
Yeah.
If you had cash,
Mm-hmm.
if you had, let's say, 800,000 in an account, and you wanted to flip houses in Colorado, would you utilize your own cash or would you use hard money?
I honestly don't think it's a tricky question. I think it really depends on the strategy. Like if you're doing once a year type flip or twice a year, I would never borrow money from hard money. I'll use my own cash.
Okay.
Because as long as you find tapping out and like have no more money, that's all right. I mean, I would save on interest payment. I would save on closing costs. I would save on the stress of making like holding costs. I would not borrow any penny. But most flippers that look to grow the business, first of all, they don't sit on that much cash. That's the reason they want to flip and build that cash.
Right.
Second of all, a lot of them try to do like couple deals at a time, or like they got into a very large deal. So now they're trying to do another small one, but they tapped out. So like, it really depends on your strategy. The bigger players leveraging money. I mean, we all leveraging money in one way or another. So if you're already just do it for the fun and like couple properties a year, you retire, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will not borrow from anyone.
Just use your own cash.
Yeah, use your own cash. But if you look to grow your business, and I mean, we have borrowers, we have currently like 10 open loans with like 10 properties at the time. And like, again, I mean, if you put like 50, 60, 70K down payments, obviously it's larger deals, and then you need another 100K for rehab on those larger deals. So you're all in like 200 grand. If you have 10 of those open, you're $2 million
right
out. And that's for carrying costs. Someone need to make payments on 10 properties. This can be like 40, 50 grand a month.
That's even more coming out, right?
So it really depends on your strategy. People are avoiding paying fees for to avoid basically losing the money up front, but they're losing the opportunity of buying the right deal. Or the second deal.
That's super key right there, what you just said. Yeah.
The opportunity loss, right? Like if I tapped all my money into a Littleton deal and then another Englewood deal came and I'm out of money, or I have to call to someone like Gabrielle to lend me the money, but then I've been in charge, if I'm a private guy, like 3 points and 13, 14%, right? And on top of that, you would need hard money. So then your margin would be a lot smaller borrowing the 100% in those prices.
Right.
So it really depends on your strategy.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to just talk to someone that knows. Because like I had a lot of borrowers that wanted to do full cash and then they call me day later, hey, can we talk about it? Like actually explain to me. Because like a lot of people just avoid it for the name, for the cost, for the interest rate, for the points.
Right.
But not avoiding it for the right reason. Like, I just don't need it. If you don't need it, just don't use it. It's okay.
And like you said, if you want to do volume, if you want to do 2, 3, 4, 5 flips at a time, use that leverage, utilize hard money.
Exactly.
And maybe some of your own cash with a rehab or whatever.
Exactly.
And that way you can do more.
Exactly. And a lot of guys utilize a line of credit. I mean, we don't do that in any way, but a lot of guys that own their primary, like a lot of flippers would pay off the primary and get a line of credit against it.
Yeah.
And then utilize that line of credit as like, as you're saying, 700-800 grand cash basically to get the re-up most cases.
Right.
And they still use us for the purchases. But yeah, it really depends on the strategy, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to see if you'd be like, no, use hard money all
No,
the time.
I'm really the kind of person that I really want, like I really believe in that long-term relationship. Like I have borrowers that I really close once a month with, and it's consistent, and they know that I watch your back. They know I as a company, we watch your back. Personally, I watch your back. If they need me to walk the property with them just to kind of get ideas, I'll walk the property with them. Like it's a long-term partnership. Like as Capital Fund One, we don't want to look like I'm just your lender. I always represent myself. I'm your capital buddy. Like I'm really, I have the money to fund your deal, but I'm actually your partner, like for the long run. Like if you can trust me funding your deals and keep being consistent, getting you the financing you need for your deals, I think that's called a partnership.
Yeah.
Or I want to believe it's called a partnership.
Yeah. Operates like one at least. Yeah. I know an investor that's local here that utilizes you guys all the time, and like he really feels like you guys are his partner in his deals, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of other hard money lenders, I mean, I saw it before, like they're trying to screw you on one deal because the originator just like wanted to make the big buck really quick. But they're like, I mean, you'll never come back.
Yeah, kills the relationship.
Exactly. The long run is would pay it off like by far greater than the one deal that I screwed someone over.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
No, we really don't believe in it in any way.
Well, that's good. You guys are awesome. I'm really excited to have you guys a part of the community.
Thank you.
And I love what you guys do, just connecting with people, educating people. You have your class coming up.
May 16th, right?
Yes, May 16th. You guys will be here. This podcast will come out after that, but I'm sure we'll schedule another one later in the year to have you guys come out and educate the community. It's open to everybody class, and you'll be leading that, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. No, kidding. Yeah. And I just want to say it for the community, for the guys that are listening to us, like if you have any question in the hard money space, feel free to reach out. I'm not always available. I have an 11-month-old baby at home.
Aww.
He's a cutie. But I always call back. Me or my assistant or one of my team will always call back. We'll always educate. We'll always help to put stuff together. So just really feel free to give us a call. I assume my contact info will be, I'm happy to share, but I assume it will be.
If you want to mention your number.
Yeah, so my number is 720-669-3427. And then another one is 720-241-3730. So you can always catch me in one of those. So feel free to reach out.
Can email you.
Yeah. Email me at topaz@capitalfund1.com.
And it's Topaz like the
stone. Yeah, I'm a GM. No. Yeah, it's like the GM. And then it's at capitalfund1, then number 1.com. And yeah, feel free to reach out. Any questions, any concerns, anything that you need to know, any advice that we can give. We're always happy to share the slim knowledge that we have to
abundance of knowledge.
Exactly, to help you guys get whatever you need to.
Yes, and also on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, there Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. I'm not very active on social media. I probably should or learn or hire someone.
I'd be blowing you up on there.
You should blow me up. I just not a social media guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the person to like take story and take selfie and post. I mean, John, my marketing guy is here. And he knows I always complain that can you guys hire someone to just post my name?
Right.
Like, I don't know like how to write it right. Like I'm such a blunt person. I just say what I think. And I'm never the person to like put it nice with the right emojis and like put it the right language. I'm like, dude, I know real estate. I know deals. I know how to move quick. Just talk to me that way. Like,
right.
Purchase price this, address is this, re-up is this, passport is this, done deal. But I'll get back to you. But like,
to the point.
When it comes to the whole like show, I admire people that can do it. I really do. I just not there yet in my life. But
yeah,
I'm always happy to talk to anyone.
It does help, and we tag you in the Facebook groups. You know, we have pretty big groups, and so we tag you whenever people mention stuff and need a lender. So.
Yeah,
It's
No, I will share one story that I think people should be careful from social media though. We had a borrower that was not happy with us. And it's because she didn't make payment for a few months. And we sent her a foreclosure notification. It's like, dude, you're late. And like, we have it all recorded. Like, we have all the calls that went out from the foreclosure department to like, dude, you're late on your payment. Like, we're happy to make an agreement, put you on a payment plan, but you need to make your payment.
right.
And she was not happy with us. She put it on Facebook. Like, guys, be careful, like Capital Fund 1 and like.
What? Even though she owed you money.
Yeah, exactly.
And wasn't.
And I saw it right away and I tagged the marketing department and we handled it the way they wanted. I'm a little more straight and I wanted to tell her what I think of her, but they handled it right and were very polite and diplomatic about it. And like, just let her know that we appreciate her business and we would love if she pay us off our payments that she owes us. And it ended up being right. But all the borrowers, which I appreciate, that we do a lot of business with, we're like, dude, I mean, feel free to share your what's actually behind your words, like share. Because like we do a lot of business with those guys. We didn't experience that.
Yeah.
Share. So I would just say to people in social media, just be careful. People would blast their 100% financing at 6%. I'm sure you see it all the time. 100% financing
And
at 6%. Exactly. I'm like, the biggest scam. And then just know who you're talking to. Like, everyone can blast something on Facebook. Most of the time, it's even might be AI or like someone from, who knows, Indonesia. Like it's not even necessarily someone here that knows what he's doing. It's just spam. So just make sure you know who you're talking to. I have people ask me to come to my office just to make sure I'm real.
Yeah.
Like, and today it's a son and dad. They in the fourth flip with us. I want to say fourth or third, one of them. And like he's 19, speak English. His dad is maybe 40, doesn't speak English. To show up in my office, ask to see that I'm real. And we rock and rolling.
Nice.
And they killing it. So just make sure that you know social media is beautiful. It's great, but just know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Because you want to make sure that your deals get funded.
Yeah.
And you're not being.
Yeah. And that you don't give your information to someone that can use it for who knows what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing your information. I'm sure you'll have some people reaching out to you.
Will be my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's it for us today, guys. Until next time.